So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show. Before I get into other topics that I want to share with you guys today, I ask you for a big favor. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our video. And if you can, share it with your buds, share it with your friends at work, in the law firm, the stock room, whatever it is, share our channel. Okay, guys? By you helping us out, our channel continues to grow and we can continue to bring you real, honest content. All right, guys? Okay? Don't forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about something that we saw in the internet, and it makes us kind of smile and laugh, and it's incredible that these people bring this kind of content to you guys, even though that we know there's no more content out there. There is. You have to make stage content to to get you guys attention. We're gonna be real careful with the words we use, so we're good. We're good. So we saw a channel, ladies and gentlemen, and a customer calls this other watch channel. He calls them up on the phone, and he says he came in from a flight somewhere, from Europe somewhere, and he's telling him that when he was getting off the plane and passing by customs and all that good stuff, when you come into the United States, he was stopped, and all the watches that he had, for what I understand, he was talking to this gentleman, to this channel, to the guy with the black eyes, if you know what I mean, the guy with the black eyes. He was calling him up and telling him the story that he went through over there and somewhere, let's just say in LaGuardia, LaGuardia, New York. Let's say an example. And he gets stopped over there, and they took his watches, and he had very expensive watches, lottie. And he's talking to this watch channel, this watch show, and he's telling him all about all the watches that customs took from him. This is all stage, but I gotta tell you all this because this is what Kino writes for me, and I voice it out to you guys. Kino's the brains, I'm the voice, So he calls the guy up, that deputy boxing black eyes, so you guys understand me, and he tells him everything that happened to him, and you won't believe what the deputy boxing black eyes tells his client. Supposedly that is his client that he's talking to him on the phone, And Deputy Boxing Black Eye says, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's call him Jerry. Don't worry about it, Jerry. Don't worry about this, Jerry. A friend of mine is the ambassador of the United Nations, and I'm gonna make a phone call to him because he's a real good friend of mine, and he will fix all this subject that you have going on with your watches being taken by customs, and so don't worry about it, Jerry. I'll take care of it." This is Deputy Boxing Black Eyes telling his customer, Jerry, that he has a friend of his that is the ambassador of the United Nations, and he's going to take care of all those watches that they took from him, and they have him hostage, those watches. It's unbelievable, and I see this kind of content that these guys are still passing on to you people out there, and some of you people believe it, and you get excited, and you get really happy, and my God, these guys are back. These guys are back. Yeah, they're back with the sketch, and people do believe that. And I was telling Kino that there is human minds that believe all that content. They believe all that wishy-washy stuff. They believe it. That can you imagine me saying that don't worry about it, Kino. My friend is the ambassador of the United Nations. He'll take care of all your watches. Come on, man. And people believe these kind of things. Using United Nations, ambassador. I don't know if it's United Nations, but I'm for sure the word ambassador was thrown out. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's the ambassador, and he'll take care of the subject of all your watches. Guys, you guys you guys gotta wake up. You guys cannot be, seeing content like this. I honestly go see the honeymooners. With Ralph Crandon and Ed Norton. You're safer there. Than watching these people throwing out that they have an ambassador friend that's gonna take care of all your watches. I just wanted to let you guys know about that. You guys cannot continue being you guys just can't continue being the way you guys are, celebrating these these anyway, we're gonna also be talking about, they used to have somebody also working there in that deputy boxing black eye stable. They had a gentleman there that was working there that I will call him in a sweet way. I will call him the Pillsbury Dull Boy, with the Taliban beer, the Pillsbury Dull Boy with the Taliban beer. And where credit is due, credit is due. And I have always been taught that no matter whatever, if you do this, if you don't like or you do like, when you have to give credit, you give it, and that's it. And that young man with the Pillsbury Doughboy with Taliban beer was a walking encyclopedia. He knew everything about watches and movements and all that good stuff. And he was working there with Deputy Boxing Black Eyes for some time, and and the marriage fell apart, and the Pillsbury Doughboy, he took a hike. He was on the road, on the road again. And he left, and he started working for a watch company. A watch company, and he's there now, and he's over there now. He's pretty much with a suit and tie, and he trimmed down his Taliban beer, and he trimmed down some. He's unbelievable, this kid. But the funny thing is that they also used to have in that company, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes Stable, they had another gentleman that he won. He was the they had three people that were gonna win first, second, and third place. They did a show like Fish Tank, like Fish Tank, and he didn't win first place, but I believe he got a third place. I think third place was him. I call him Mr. French, and then you had Jeter Pinocchio, and you also had the first place winner was the Amish Honey Bun Maker. He won and none of these three guys are there no more. They're gone. First place, second place, and third place. And let me tell you something. Out of that litter, that was the best they had there. Those three cats, But they're all gone. They're all gone. The Amish Honey Bun Maker is gone. Jeter Pinocchio, he's gone. He's a skinny young man with a little beard, a little mustache. He's unbelievable. And then Mr. French. And then you had, like I said again, the Pillsbury Doughboy with the Taliban beer. He was like a manager, to all these people, because they had like around 50 sales people working at the time. Well, to make the long story short, now the Pillsbury Doughboy with the Taliban beer has reunited with Mr. French. He's the gentleman that came from Paris, from France to work with them. He's over there now working with him together. They're selling watches. They're doing their song and dance. Make the short story long. Okay, make the short story long. Okay. So they're working there together now, so they can continue flamming people out there, and they're going to be pushing all these Vacheron Constantin watches. So keep your eyes open so you know what's happening, what's going on. All right. Also, we have another subject that I want to talk to you about. We have a gentleman too, which I call in a sweet way as well. I call him, Jose Feliciano Nipolitis. He's the gentleman that wears the black, sunglasses, the black T-shirt, the skating sneakers, black, those jeans the skaters use, and he's talking about in a video that he made that watches, that he sells. People have offered him, a car and a trade-in, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari. He's been offered for a watch, an apartment in Collins Avenue, Miami Beach. He's been offered an island. This is Jose Feliciano. Jose Feliciano. You guys like him. He's a cute-looking kid. It's unbelievable. He's been offered everything for all his watches. The mumbo jumbo. The mumbo jumbo stuff. That these people give to you guys, these subliminal messages, and you guys catch on to them, and you guys go bananas. So I thought I should share with with you guys too, so they don't keep on taking you, because this is like MK Ultra, to get you taken, to get you taken. He was even offered an island, a Caribbean island for a watch. These people are unbelievable. The stories that these people make, you gotta be asleep to believe these people. I mean, I don't know if you guys are asleep or not, but you gotta be asleep to, also a cigarette power boat, one of those power boats, go fast boats from the Bahamas to Bimini, Miami. You know what I'm trying to say? Do you understand me? Do you know about power boats? Cigarettes, Apache boats, all those boats, from the 80s here in Miami, So he was offered that too, he's been offered a camel for a watch. These people are unbelievable, with the wishy-washy stuff, the fantasies they selling you guys. It's unbelievable. And then, and I have to be the one to break the news to you guys. Come on, guys. Come on. No say I'm hiriboya, So I wanted to also let you know about that, There's also something that I want to talk to you guys about, that it can get us in a lot of trouble. It can get us in a lot of trouble. I was watching the other day a commercial, and it was a lady talking in the commercial, man, and I knew who that voice was. I heard that voice before. I've heard it many times. I'm talking about what that AI can do. They can clone any voice. They can mimic any voice. They can do whatever they want with this AI. I don't know if I'm saying it right. AI or IA, whatever it is. That AI. This is something that you guys got to be very careful. So I'm hearing this voice. Greetings to you, Dennis. So I'm hearing this voice, and I'm going, my God, I know this voice, and this is a commercial from selling insurance, And it was the voice of that New York Congress lady. I think her name is Alexander or Ocasio-Cortez. You might be saying it playing around, but listen to this. So I'm watching this. I said, man, this insurance agency. Listen to what I said. Man, that lady sounds exactly like that Congress lady from New York City. That Alexander Ocasio-Cortez. And I'm hearing it. And I was mind-boggling that, man, somebody has the same voice as this person. Only I kept on digging, because I'm a student of reading and looking and doing research and looking around. Man, it's that AI. They can take anybody's voice. So what happens is, I started digging, and I looked into watches. And I'm going to give you an example. You do the rest. You go look for yourself. I'm not going to do, so much work for you guys. I do it for free. I do enough. So I'm looking around, and I hear that guy, that gentleman, he's bald head, that he works in that show Fish Tank, or Tank Fish, whatever you call it, Fish Tank, And you hear his voice, and he's promoting watches. And us as human beings, we hear a voice that we like. If we hear a voice that we like, we get triggered and we buy, because we admire that person. We like that person. It's like an example. It doesn't matter what political party you belong to, but if you listen to that voice that I was telling you about, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, and you like that political party, and you hear that voice, and it's talking about insurance, you're going to buy insurance because you're hearing that. This is that AI. This thing is monster. This thing, and let me tell you again, I've been studying that for the last, I would say, for the last year, since my son introduced me to this. My son was the one that introduced me to this, and we've talked about it. This is gonna ruin lives. This is gonna ruin lives because people really believe that these voices are from the actual, you know, you know, actors, entertainers, athletes. They can do whatever they want. So you have a voice that you like very much, and you want to, let's say you want to put Elon Musk, and you put him there. You like him a lot. You like electric cars. You like his stock, and you hear his voice. You don't question nothing. You don't know if that's a clone voice. You don't know. You just hear it, and this thing is crazy, guys. So you guys got to really wake up because they're gonna keep on getting you, and they're using these voices to use whatever product they want to use and move. Whatever product they want to move, they're using these voices. Drink a little jungle juice. But it's unbelievable the way they're attacking us. They're attacking us in a way that it's unbelievable. I'm telling you that AI. I really don't want to say what I believe that AI is going to be able to do, but because it's sad what I'm going to say. Yeah, so listen, and as you guys know, you guys say it very freely already. Freely, the watch market is not well, so they have to do everything in their power to try to get customers. It don't matter how. And if it's fleecing you, flim-flamming you, with clone voices, with imitating voices, whatever it is, they're going to do everything, and they're all over the place. If you go into Top Tick, Top Tick, they have them there all over the place. It's blowing up. And listen to this. Now they have, because I told you that I get all these marketing companies. They send me emails and this and that, blah, 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 blah. And they tell you whatever voice you want in your channel. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Whatever voice you want on your channel, we give it to you. If you like Joe Pesci, we give you Joe Pesci's voice. If you like, I don't know, whatever you like. If you like, I don't know. You think about it. You tell me what voice you like, they give it to you. They give it to you, and you stop hopping around through life like rabbits because, to you is wow, what a beautiful thing. In my video, I have Al Pacino. I have Al Pacino, and he's talking for me. And Bobby, this is crazy. This happened to me I called my son running. I said, man, I just got taken. And he says, what do you mean? I got taken by Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. She was selling insurance. So again, one more time, it doesn't matter what party you belong to, in Europe, wherever you live at. You hear that party's voice and you like it, you're going to buy the insurance. You're going to buy the watch. You're going to buy the earrings. This is how they are attacking us. This is how they are attacking us. And we are still we're still not awake. We're still just skipping around through life because, nobody's telling you nothing and nobody will. This thing of that AI or IA, whatever you call it, is going to ruin lives, Papa. It's going to ruin lives. And it's a very dangerous thing. So keep in mind what these watch dealers, these big watch dealers and companies, they're gonna start using all these clone voices, make believe voices, imitating voices. They have a bunch of names for it, So you got to be very, very careful. It happened to me, and I'm gonna be honest. Let's say that I'm a fan of Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, and she's basically she's selling insurance, and I'm a real die-hard fan of hers. And I hear that she's selling insurance, that she's an ambassador for the insurance company, and I like her. I'm gonna go buy insurance for her because I'm a fan of hers. And this is what's happening. These people are pounding us in a way that It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So we got that taken care of AI, right? We got Jose Feliciano, AI, the Pillsbury Doughboy, boxing black eyes. He's gonna get an ambassador to get his friends' watches. We got that. But I got something here big to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. It is. She's okay. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Blair. You know what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna tell you something here now. And this one here is the biggest one. It's the biggest one. I saw something. I've been telling you guys for some time, because on this channel we talk about watches, we talk about life, history, politics, watch market update. In this moment, I'm going to talk about I've been telling you guys that the world is a big business. The world is a big business. If you want to learn something now it's time for you to listen and start giving me a thumbs up on those 8 thumbs up and 22 people looking at me. I'm going to give you something here that's very, very important for you guys to learn. If you listen, you're going to go, wow. I've been telling you that this whole thing, this whole parade of Israel and Iran, Russia and Ukraine, and then in the middle, you have the United States of America, right? And I've been telling you this is a whole business for the whole long, forever. I've been telling you, listen, you don't know these people, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, Rockefellers, JP Morgan, Rothschilds, the DuPonts. These are the owners of the world, the Bilderbergers. All this thing is unbelievable. And I told you already that these people don't play with millions of dollars. They don't play with billions of dollars. I've told you that. Millions, get it out of the equation. Millions. Billions, get it out of the equation. These people play with trillions of dollars. Trillions. Forget about millions and billions. They play with trillions. I am a student of history, of knowledge that I want to learn. I'm thirsty to learn every single day. And I'm watching the United States carefully. I'm watching America, my country. And I'm watching Israel, and I'm watching Iran, and I'm watching Russia, and I'm watching Ukraine. And the administration from the White House was mad. They were very, very mad what was happening with Russia and Ukraine, and making a big fuss about the situation. Listen and learn. Take it easy. You're going to learn something today. You're going to learn something about business. So you understand how gross this is and how bad things are going to be. So a couple of days, that guy from the White House, he, the new administration, they meet up with this secretary of, over there from NATO. The secretary, it's unbelievable. His name is Mark Rutte, R-U-T-T-E. They meet up with him in the Oval Office. Listen and learn so you understand why the watch market, the economy is going bananas and going crazy and everything is just going haywire. Because you guys are skip hopping around through life like, little ponies, ponies. I got to change the word. We got to get that word out already. We got to use pony. Little ponies, Little ponies skip hopping around like ponies, So he invites that guy, the secretary, General Mark Rutte. He's in the Oval Office to talk about, arms, weapons, right? Listen to this. So that new guy from the White House sits down and he says he's talking there after, the other Cuban, there's a Cuban guy in that administration too. I think his name is Blonde. They call him Blonde. He's there and you got the vice president, and then you have the president, and then you have that guy, Mark Rutte, the general secretary from NATO, So now the head honcho from the White House is going to talk, and he's going to say, we're going to stop producing. Listen and learn. Listen and learn. This is good for you. me get some jungle juice because it's gonna get good now. I told you the trillions were gonna come. I told you that the trillions are coming. The trillions are coming. So the guy, the new administrator from the White House, is sitting down, very cool, and he says, well, we're gonna be now because I'm kind of upset with Russia the way they're behaving. This is all teatro, theater, It's all theater. Everybody's gonna get something, everybody's gonna get something there, You say I'm the good cop, the bad cop, and all that good stuff, right? So the guy says in the White House, we have come in an agreement with Secretary General Mark Rutte, right? The NATO. We've come to an agreement that we're gonna produce for them all the arms they need, bombs, tanks, ammunition, whatever it is, all those bombs, right? And he says, and we made an agreement. Listen to this. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? So this guy is saying that he is going to produce for the next 3 years, arms and weapons to NATO, $1 trillion a year for the next 3 years. So when he leaves the White House, this is it. First year, $1 trillion. Second year, $1 trillion. And third year, $1 trillion, and I'm leaving. Papi, we're talking about some nasty numbers. $3 trillion. And then the guy from the White House says, and these people are loaded. They have all the money in the world to spend it. Because we have to keep on giving these people from NATO, all those NATO countries, all the ammunition they need so they can keep on going at it. Because this is a big business, papi. When BlackRock gets involved, the Bilderbergers, Skull and Bones, they get involved. That's it, papi. They all want to get paid. It's a business. It's all a big business. And me and you are not in that business. And me and you are going to have economically problems. We're going to have economic problems. Because the world's going to turn upside down. You imagine for the next 3 years, $1 trillion in war weapons. All the weapons they need. So they can keep on bombarding each other. And all these owners of the world get their money that they want. It's a big business. And me and you are not involved, papi. Esto está virado al revés. This is turned upside down. And I was looking and I said, oh my God, there it is. I've been telling my Organic Watch channel subscribers that this is coming. This is $1 trillion business for these people. These people don't play around with mumbo jumbo. $1 million, $1 billion. That's nothing to them. These people work with trillions of dollars. In our country, in America, we'll be upside down. You don't think for a moment that this is going to be good. Not for us. No, not for us, but for them it's going to be good. Nosotros somos unos sapos. We're frogs. We are frogs. We are frogs. There's no more countries. There's no more countries out there. They rule the whole planet. I told you about the movie. The movie They Live. Mr. Donut. They Live. And I told you about the movie The Network. Mr. Blair. All these people are smart people in this channel. And they're telling you. And it's all there. It's all there. You guys don't want to understand this because you guys want to talk about, I want to watch, I want to review, I want to strap, I want the movement, I want a power reserve. That's all nice. But you have to know all these things to understand what's happening around you. So you can talk to these undertakers, they're taking you for a ride. But it's unbelievable what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. When I saw that, I said, oh my God, let me tell you, you know what it is for the next 3 years? Every year, $1 trillion you're selling. You are fabricating. You know, you're fabricating all these weapons, tanks, all these things. It's a business. There you go, Dennis. The war is the biggest business there is. The war is the biggest business, and we are all gonna feel it. We are all gonna feel it. Everybody. I saw that and I go, oh my God, there it is. There it is. There was no way in the world that they can keep it hush hush. They had to. So who's going to be the buyers? Who's going to be the customer to buy all my arsenal from the United States, NATO, all the NATO countries? And who's the guy that's going to make the deal? That guy that was sitting in the Oval Office, Mark Ruff, Mark Ruff. I don't know what his name is, Mark Ruff. I don't know. You guys told me. You guys are smarter than me. I just bring it to you. All right? So we have that one taken care of. I'm going to give you one more here now that when I start thinking, because my mind is crazy. I'm always thinking real far, real far, real far. And some people told me, some of my Organic Watch channel subscribers talked to me about that guy, Jeffrey, Jeffrey, the guy with the plane log and all that good stuff, right? And they're saying that that they don't take it out, they don't show who it is, they don't do this, they don't do that. And I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly, there it is. But this one is bigger still. Now this is another one because where you have to give, he's right, or it sounds like it's true. This is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. I'm going to explain to you. They still haven't shown that log. They shown in the social media. They shown this person, that person, this, that, but they really haven't done it. Some people say, well, they don't do it because the guy from the administration in the White House, he's probably in there. Well, my friends, this is my theory. And I want to hear all of you now. My theory is, watch this theory, guys. Let me drink some jungle juice before I give you this. Unbelievable, these people are brilliant. He got into the White House. He is the master of the new administration. And people think that he is also in that log, in that log. But honestly, what I believe is that he is slow playing that because there are so many people in that plane log that have gone to that island that he's to me, he's waiting for payouts. Please don't show my name. Payouts. You understand me? Or you guys still don't understand me? I think he's waiting for payouts. You pay me, I won't show your name. I won't tell you Kino was in the plane log. You understand me? You know what I'm trying to say? You pay me, and I tell you Kino was not in the plane log. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable. These people, Papi, you guys are still hopping around through life. There you go. He wants to stay hidden. There you go. So people, they say, hey man, this guy has the power to say that Juan Felipe Nieves is in that plane log. Donna was there. Joaquin was there. Everybody's there. Everybody's there. So everybody is going to have to go to that guy, the new administration, to the Vance, to the Rubio, and we wanna square you, man. I don't want you to say my name. How much is this gonna cost? I don't want this one. You got there Oprah, you got that one, you got this one. Papi, you got the elite are in there. So I think that he is just slow playing to see who's gonna come up with the biggest amount. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Because you're talking about serious people that are in that plane log. I didn't see nobody say a word about it. That's good. That's good. So think about that one too, because my mind, remember, I am considered a conspiracy theorist. You know, I mean, I am. And I'm not ashamed to say it. And this is what I believe is happening. You know, none of you said a word about it. That's good. That means that, you guys say, well, the world is upside down. We have NATO doing this now, becoming the #1 customer of the United States in arms. And then you have these files that, they promised that they were going to show them, blah, 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 but they haven't, and then you have a judge over there holding on to them, but they're slipping already different names already out, different names, you pay, you get, papi, this is corrupted, man, this is corrupted, esto es el diablo, this is this is this, this is this. You understand me? Not that I believe in none of that. I mean, I said it wrong. I believe it, but I will never practice none of that, You understand me? It's a big group, and me and you're not in it. I don't want to get you no more tired with that subject, so I'm going to give you a watch market update so you can continue skip hopping around like ponies through life. Like the unicorn, I'm going to call you guys, unicorns. They want to just skip around like a unicorn, all right? Guys, I'm going to give you a watch market update for some of my organic watch channel subscribers who have requested this watch market update. Right, guys? And our first watch is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore 42 millimeter rose gold. They call this the brick. Reference number 264700OR. Ladies and gentlemen, this watch at one moment was over $90,000 in that Corona era. Over $90,000. And there were people that wanted that watch because the heavier it was, they got to say that their watch is a brick. Chrono, unbelievable. They were going nuts with this watch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 42 millimeter. Has a retail price of $74,000. Fully rose gold, the brick. And I'm going to tell you, like I told you, over $85,000 to $90,000. And I'm going to have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. You do whatever you want. You can continue maintaining those people's lifestyle. You can continue giving them thank you, whatever you call it. You can continue doing all that. It doesn't bother me no more. My time here is very limited. That's not a lie. It is the truth. It's very limited. But while I'm here, I'm going to give it to you the way it is. Don't worry about it. I'm too small for all these people. I can't handle all those people no longer. Thank you very much, John, for that super chat. That just makes me happy to continue giving you more realistic content. Thank you very much, John. So I can, against them, I can't. I will never win. But that doesn't mean that I'm a loser. I'm just saying I will never win. So I'm going to tell you again, don't pay for that brick. AP Royal Oak Offshore 42 millimeter rose gold. 26470. Don't pay more. You do whatever you want. Don't pay more. And I'm talking about full set. Use slider condition material. Don't pay more than $47,000 in debt. You do whatever you want with your money. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a Patek Philippe Complications 5905. Stainless steel with a green dial. Beautiful stainless steel. Unbelievable. 5905 annual calendar. 42 millimeter. Unbelievable. Has a retail price of $68,000. This is a monster watch. Annual calendar, papi, beautiful, Beautiful green, Remember, I'm telling you, the green is the color that is the famous color today, Before it was the blue, now it's the green. Until another color comes in, they take turns. Like in sports, they take turns who's going to win the next championship, Baseball, they take turns. Football, they take turns. Hockey, they take turns. You know, basketball, they take turns. Basketball's the worst one. It's unbelievable the way those people work. It's unbelievable. We don't believe. We don't belong in that group. We're never going to be in that group. It's an incredible team. Those people are unbelievable. Those commissioners. You don't know about that stuff. In sports, the commissioners, those people are. You don't know about that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you the retail price is $68,000. Don't pay for that 5905 complications green dial annual calendar. Don't pay more than $47,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex yellow gold. Yellow gold. Green dial. Listen and learn. This is for you, senor. You wanted it? I'm going to give it to you, papa. Going to give it to you. Rolex yellow gold green dial sky dweller with an oyster bracelet. Yellow gold with a green dial. The most expensive thing that watch has, either in the oyster bracelet, listen to me, dumbskis. Listen to me. Either in the oyster bracelet or the Jubilee bracelet, the most expensive thing there is that green dial. The green dial, like the green cup, Green dial, unbelievable, Rolex. Thank you very much, Mr. Blair. Thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you very much. You didn't have to, but you're one of mine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Papa. So the most expensive thing that Rolex Sky Dweller yellow gold has, either a Jubilee bracelet or oyster bracelet, is that green dial. The green dial. They say it's the most beautiful green dial right now on that watch. Could be true. Could be true. The reference number of that watch is the 336938. This watch has a retail price of $57,000. Remember, this is the oyster bracelet yellow gold with the green dial, not the Jubilee. Oyster. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm stupid like that, I'm going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Don't pay for that watch. I mean, you do whatever you want. It's your money, and you can spend it as you please. Like I spend mine as I please. But don't pay for that watch. I'm only telling you what you should pay. Don't pay for that watch more than $66,500. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about another watch that another subscriber of mine wanted to hear my watch market update on this watch. And so do you guys out there. So do you. This is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Jumbo Extra Thin 39 millimeter, 16202 XT BMG, with a smoke burgundy dial. Rare, with capital letters, rare, really, really rare. Rare. Unbelievable, this watch, unbelievable. The rare oak, the rare oak. Unbelievable. Titanium, it's titanium. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch, it was like, you have watches, they're like, like unbelievable watches that they take you to the back room and they give you that, they give you that sweet, care in that back room. But in this watch, it's different. This one, they give it to you in a different place, because this is rare. This is like something out of this world. And people have been asking me about this watch, the smoke burgundy dial, smoke, unbelievable. And they take you far, somewhere far, because, this is something spectacular. I know that I'm running my mouth, but I have to make you understand. I'm giving you the subliminal message. You understand me, This is different. This is not the yellow gold with the smoke dial, because I have the yellow gold one, what's the name of that one? James LeBron, James LeBron. This is different, Poppy. This is not even gold. This is titanium, but it's rare. And then the dial, It's like supersonic rare, you know? And I'm going to tell you, sir, because you want this watch. You really want it, you know? And you told me what they were offering you one. They were offering you one for $189,000. $189,000. Well, I'm going to tell you, senor, don't pay, and I mean don't pay. You do whatever you want. Remember, they're not like us. They're not like us. And remember always, we have rules in this channel. Not suggestions, rules. Don't pay for that watch. Don't pay more than $176,000. And he did. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Here's another one for you guys. So you can run now and tell Timmy. You know, I don't know how they call that. You know, como se dice, pigeon stew or stew pigeon stew or stew pigeon, you know? And you go running to tell somebody else, you know, the news, you know? How do you, Mr. Blair, how do you say that? Stew pigeon or pigeon stew? You know, when they fly. They fly to tell the other person, hey, I heard this, you know, over there, you know? You know what I mean? Or you still don't know what I'm trying to say about stew pigeon. I don't know. Anyway, so this watch is an unbelievable watch. This is the Rolex Oyster Flex. The Rolex Oyster Flex. Blue Tiffany dial. Reference number 126518. You know, with the black gauges. It's an unbelievable watch, ladies and gentlemen. It's an unbelievable watch. And let's be honest, everybody would say in April, that is the ugliest watch. It is the ugliest watch. Nobody's going to buy it. Blah, 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 blah. You know, the blah, 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 blah. That watch was at $198,000 at one moment. This watch has a retail price. My God. This watch has a retail price of $37,400. Exactly, Mr. Blair. Palmolive Blue Dish Liquor. That's right, the Palmolive Dish Blue Liquor. You know, you gotta be a sandbag. You gotta be a sandbag. This watch costs $37,400. It's yellow gold. Yellow gold. Has a blue dial. You know, they call it a Tiffany. And ladies and gentlemen, it was at $200,000. $170,000. $149,000. Does anybody know what price I'm going to tell you guys? Does anybody? We need somebody here to, you know, get me going, to help me out. Does anybody? Yeah, we need some lambones and palomos. You know, we need lambones and palomos to help me out. Nelson, come on, help me out. What do you think I'm going to say? You guys should not pay more than this for this watch. Nobody knows? Yes, the Tiffany. Yes, the Tiffany. Yellow gold with a blue dial. Tiffany. Oyster Flex. You know, Oyster Flex. And then here the clasp is yellow gold, you know. You understand? That one. How much? How much you guys think I'm going to tell you not to pay for that watch? You guys need help. Anyway, guys, I see that you guys don't know, and that's a bad thing when you guys don't know. That's a bad thing when you guys don't know. When you guys don't have an idea, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, you know. Dedicated to Rolex. Okay, $80,000, okay? 80,000 euros. 55 by Nelson. Guys, I told you it was about 200, 150. You know, 140, 130. Anyway, guys, here it goes. Don't pay for that watch. And go tell your friends, you know, fly and tell them. Fly and tell them. Don't, my God. Wow. Mr. Blair, he threw it out there. He threw it out there and, you know, let's say it sticks. You know, let's say it sticks. Mr. Blair, you got the closest. So I'm going to give it to you. Don't pay for that Tiffany. Don't pay more than $109,000. And
Dumping! That one has a drop in there. Dumping! Pújame para atrás, Kino. Push me back. Dumping! One more, Kino. Dumping! I'm telling you, this thing is dropping by the second. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Yes, you did. You got some sushi dinner. Yes, you did. I said, you did good. You did good. Our next watch is an AP Royal Oak White Gold. 16202 BC. Jumbo, extra thin. Blue grainy dial. I repeat, blue grainy dial. Blue grainy dial. It's unbelievable, this channel. #1 watch market update show in the world. Unbelievable. And this watch, ladies and gentlemen, this is rare as well. You know, these people want rare stuff. You know, these collectors, these collectors, I gotta be honest. These collectors, they're asking for these prices. I'm gonna be honest. They're coming from watch dealers like Boxing Black Eyes, like you know, Feet Happy. You know, Feet Happy. You know, they're coming from the, you know, the Walrus. You know, they're coming to me. They're coming to me. There's a guy from California. The guy, he has like around, maybe you guys are not going to believe me, but this guy, they say, that's what I heard, that he has like $150 million in sports cars from over there. And he's a good friend from, you know, Toupee Wig Man, you know, with the orange jeans, yellow shoes, green belt, flower shirt, Toupee Wig Man, you know, like 80 years old. And he sent me a message asking me a price of a Richard Mille, you know, and you know, I'm telling you, they're coming to hear my prices because what they're doing is they're cutting some of my prices. They cut it and they send it out to all these dealers so they can see what I'm saying, and that's what they want to pay, or they want to pay something close to that. You guys don't know about that, Poppy. This channel has become famous, very famous, because they're cutting some of my content, you know, 20 seconds, boom, this is what he says that I should pay, and this is what I pay. And listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, it works like a charm. Maybe if I say 120, maybe they don't get it for 120, but they get it for 122, you know, 123, and they were asking 136. Big difference, right? But that's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful AP Royal Oak White Gold 16202 BC Jumbo, extra thin with the blue grainy dial, rare. Don't pay for that watch. You don't pay for that watch. Here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. Be smart. Don't pay for that watch more than $97,000. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Just send me a thank you. You know, send me a thank you. I save with you 18,000. I save with you 12,000. People tell me here that I have saved shekels, you know, shekels, you know, I don't know how to say that word, you know, shekels, you know, euros. I have saved them money, you know, unbelievable. You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Royal Oak stainless steel 26331. Stainless steel black dial 41 millimeter. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, to you, sir, that want this watch, don't pay more. And I'm talking about don't pay more. And you want to use slider condition with all the bells and whistles. You know, with all the bells and whistles. Don't pay more than $33,500. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a watch that I have. But somebody wants to buy that watch. And this is the Patek Philippe Nautilus stainless steel, blue dial, 40 millimeter. Collector's grave. Not collector's grave, collector's grave. You know? Collector's grave. Unbelievable watch. 5711. Retail price before it got discontinued was 34 and change. Let's round it to $35,000. The retail price of that watch. And at one moment that watch was over. You won't believe this. You had to be You had to be, you had to be getting some kind of free money, from somewhere, because nobody in their right mind would say, I'm going to spend $300,000 on a stainless steel 5711 blue dial Nautilus. You had to be crazy. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for this watch. You do whatever you want. Don't get scared, guys. The truth of the matter is, the watch market is dead. But you guys don't want to continue believing it. You guys want to continue believing that it's not. But it's dead. It's dead. You've been in the MK Ultra trance. The MK Ultra trance. You know? See that? Greenbacks and euros and pounds and shekels. You see that? You read that. Read that there. Don't pay for that Patek 5711 stainless steel blue dial. You do whatever you want. You do whatever you want. Don't pay for that watch more than $82,000. There is no money in the street, Papi. They cannot continue selling watches to each other. They can't. They just can't. There's a moment that the big train wheel is going to stop. Those big train wheels in those factories back in, in Germany back then, in the 50s and 40s, they were producing in the factory. Blah, blah, blah. That's it. It stopped. It's going to stop. They can't no more. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool other people all the time. You can't. And especially with me, I'm a thorn. Remember, it's just me against 100,000. It's just me against 100,000. I already told you the price. Listen to this one. Another collector. Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona Le Mans. Rolex Yellow Gold Daytona Le Mans. 40 millimeter, Black dial, white gauges. Retail price is $50,000. 2 weeks ago, so you understand this, they were asking for this watch $260,000. Papi, do you know what $260,000 is on a watch that costs 50? It cost 50, but it was sold around among them, give me 150, 175, 180, you understand? It was at $260,000. You guys got to listen and learn. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, don't pay, because you can't no more. You can't lie no more. So you got to let it go. I got to let this thing go. If I can't make the 3Gs, the 4Gs, that I'm spending on, buying this watch, for an example, for $100,000, I got to let go of it. And this was a $260,000 watch 2 weeks ago. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Let me give you the reference number. 126528. Don't pay for that watch. No sean morón. No sean morones. No sean morones. Don't pay for that watch more than $217,000. Probably my prices are for real, man. They cut the clip, and they sent it to Feet Happy. They cut the clip and they sent it to Boxing Black Eyes. They cut the clip and sent it to Big Pun and Heavy D. Here it is. They cut the clip and they sent it to that toupee weak man over there. That's how it is. This is what they do with me. And they send me the information telling me the Roxbury brothers, one is tall, one is short, one is smart, one is dumb, one is introverted. It's unbelievable. And then you also got the guy from over there, You don't know who that is? The Iron Sheik Tunic Man, over there too, fighting over there. These people are unbelievable. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably don't know about this watch. Or the Jehovah's Witness brothers, you probably don't know about this watch. But I want to talk to you about something that's, again, that they had to take you not to the back door, not to the back room. They had to take you to, they will take you in a Lear jet and fly you around and then, give you this watch. This is a Patek Philippe Nautilus, white gold, chronograph, blue diamond dial, 40th anniversary. Listen and learn, Bobby. Listen and learn. The 5976. 5976. Do you guys know what this watch was costing in the Corona beer era? Do you guys know? No? Give me a number. I double dare you. I triple dare you to throw me a number. White gold, 40th anniversary, blue diamond dial. Chronograph. Chronograph. 5976. Nobody knows, right? This watch in the Corona era, you're not going to believe this. This watch was $750,000. $750,000. This is my last watch market of the afternoon. Don't pay for that watch, sir. You do whatever you want. And you know, this watch, I don't even have to say complete, you know, full set, because this is a monster watch. This thing has everything. But sir, don't pay for that watch more than $308,000. All right? You heard that? Don't pay more than $308,000. They had to fly you in a Learjet to give you that watch. I'm going to give you a bonus one. The Rolex John Mayer, fully green dial, yellow gold. It was $38,700 with the retail price. Don't pay for that watch more than $48,000. You do whatever you want. I say it the way I see it. All right, guys? Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this watch market update show and you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like our video. And ladies and gentlemen, we also have a private group under my name, Juan Felipe Nieves, on Facebook. Scroll down to About. You'll find there Opus in Time. Request to join the channel, and maybe Samantha and Kino will let you in. All right, guys? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. Don't forget, 15 thumbs up. Wow, unbelievable. Anyway, guys, like we say always, thank you so much for the help. Thank you so much for, for being here with us live. That means a whole lot to all of us. Thank you for the supporting the channel, the super chats, all those things. Thank you so much again. All right, guys? And like we say always, take care and brush your hair.